dear students, I am Dr. S. Karmakar, Chief Scientist, Department of Agronomy. Today I will discuss about CHICKPEA, which is an important pulse crop under crop production technology 2, that is Rabi crops. You know that it is just a previous class I discussed about CHICKPEA, and then today I will discuss CHICKPEA with regards to origin, geographical distribution, soil and climatic requirements, important varieties, cultural practices like soil preparation, and then seed and sowing, then cultural interculturing operation, important varieties, etc. And then about yield. Before going into the details of CHICKPEA, we should know what is the per capita availability of pulse in India. It is nowadays it is around 55.9 gram per day, and which was earlier during 1950-51 it was 60.7 gram per day. The first picture you are seeing that after germination crop is emerging out from soil, and you see the root system, it is deep root system, and then second photograph is showing you the flowering condition of CHICKPEA. Here the color of flower is white, so many color are we found, that is purple, red, etc. And third picture is pod development stage. Now coming to its origin and history. Pea is probably originated from Southwestern Asia, possibly Northwestern India, Pakistan or adjacent areas of former USSR and Afghanistan. Thereafter it spread to temperate zones of Europe. Based on genetic diversity, 4 centers of origin like Central Asia, the Near East, Abyssinia and Mediterranean have been recognized. The major field pea producing countries are Russia, China, Canada, Europe, Australia and the United States. Last 4 countries, Europe, Australia, Canada and the United States, raise over 4.5 million acres, and they are the major exporters of field peas. The left one photograph is garden pea and second one processed dal from field pea. It also distributed in India. Different states are Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, Bihar, Chhattisgarh. Here you see in the table the status of field pea production in different states of India. Uttar Pradesh ranked first with regards to field pea production. It produces 4.32 lakh ton, that is around 44% of Indian production, and with an area of 2.94 lakh hectare, and that is 36% of Indian acreage, with the yield 1469 kg per hectare. It is the highest yield in India. In Madhya Pradesh, production is 3.22 lakh ton and area is 3.12 lakh hectare, which is around 39% of India. That means it ranks first in acreage, with an average yield is 1032 kg per hectare. Jharkhand ranks third, 59,000 hectare covered under field pea, with a production of 71,000 ton, with yield 1201 kg per hectare. Then other producing states are Rajasthan, Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh. If you see all India figure, total acreage under field P is 8.2 lakh hectare. Production is 9.9 lakh ton with average yield 1204 kg per hectare. If you see earlier area during 1981, only 4.1 lakh hectare was cultivated under field P, which is just half of the present acreage. Production was 2.8 lakh ton. So at this stage, around more than 3.5 times increased, and that time yield was only 688 kg per hectare. That means nowadays we have reached almost double of that, that is 1204 kg per hectare. Now coming to botanical description of field P, there are two types of field P. One is field P Pisum sativum var arvens, another is garden P, that is Pisum sativum var hortens. And you know the commonly field P is called as mutton. Its chromosome number 2n is equal to 14. You know P is an annual herbaceous plant under leguminous family. Plant bears a taproot system and profuse number of nodules are found in the root system. Stems are hollow, slender and succulent in nature. Leaves, if you see, then it is pinnately compound leaves with 3 pairs of leaflet and a terminal one, which ultimately modified into a branched tendril. Inflorescence are axillary raceme and the flower colors varied from reddish, purple and white. You also know that it has the capacity to fix nitrogen through symbiotic process. It ranges around 31 to 107 kg nitrogen per hectare as per Karmakar et al. 1999. Now coming to what is the climatic requirement of field P production. You know that it is grown in the winter season and it requires fairly cold and dry climate. It prefers 22 to 25 degrees centigrade at germination and moderately lower temperature of 15 to 18 degrees Celsius at flowering as well as in fruiting. You know that being leguminous crop, it cannot withstand excess water logging. So you have to take care during the time of sowing as well as flowering and fruiting especially. Hailstorm at the ripening stage, it also severely hampered crop production. Frosty weather is also fatal for this crop. High humidity associated with cloudy weather is responsible for spreading of fungal disease like damping of powdery mildew, etc. Now coming to economics importance, I know that the economic importance is very high as the market price of pulse is high in comparison to other crops. It is usually used as dal as well as spicy food dishes like chole and many attractive and tasty preparation can be made from its flour. Straw after harvesting of pod, that can be used as a very good fodder, and its husk and bits of cotyledon can be used as valuable cattle feed. Its nutritive value is too high. You can get 100 per 100 gram of grains, calorie is 280. Protein ranges from 19 to 24.5 gram per 100 gram. Then carbohydrate 58 to 63.5%, fat 1.5 to 2%, fiber 1.8%, and also it is very much rich in macro and micronutrient like calcium, phosphorus, potassium, then zinc, iron, etc. Filpi is also containing high levels of amino acid like lysine and tryptophan. Then coming to soil, Filpi needs medium soil types ranging from sandy loam to clay loam, which should be free from soluble salts. The soil must be well drained, as waterlogging is extremely harmful. We have earlier discussed about. So waterlogging should be avoided throughout its growth period. It does well under neutral soil reaction. That means pH should range from 6.5 to 7.5. And you know, in neutral soil pH, the availability of nutrients is high. Particularly phosphorus availability will be high in neutral soil, and under acidic soil phosphorus gets fixed up. So you should take care. If it is little at acidic soil, then you have to take preventive measure. That means you have to add lime. And land preparation, actually Filpi is highly sensitive to soil aeration. Soil should not be very pulverized and fine. You should mind it that if it is very much pulverized and fine, then just after irrigation or rainfall, soil compaction will be there, so oxygen content of soil will be decreased, and root proliferation as well as growth of microbes will be checked. It must be free from all established weeds as well as stubbles of kharif crop which was grown in the kharif season. That should be removed out from the field. Suitable land can be prepared by one deep plowing with the help of moldboard plow, soil turning plow, then two harrowing followed by planking. So in this way you can get the soil suitable for Filpi sowing. Then coming to seeds and its sowing. Filpi is generally sown in India during Rabi seasons. In plains of India, it can be sown at the beginning of October to middle of November. Whereas in hilly condition, it can be sown in the middle of March to end of May, and thereby second crop can be taken in the autumn season. In plains, sowing of seed during first week of November is the proper time for getting higher yield. Its spacing ranges from 30 to 40 centimeter row to row and 10 to 15 centimeter plant to plant. If the plant is dwarf in nature, then you should go for 30 centimeter spacing, row to row. And if it is semi-erect or tall plant type of plant, then you should increase the row width, that is 45 centimeter row to row. And seed rate, it varies from 80 to 100 kg per hectare. In case of small seeded, 75 to 80 kg seed per hectare requirement is there, and if there is bold seed variety if you are going to sow, then around 90 to 100 kg seed per hectare is required. Then before sowing of seed, you must treat the seed with fungicide, then insecticide, and then microbes. That is, you should follow the FIR system. Seed treatment actually is done with tabuconazole or Vitavax, 2 gram per kg seed, to check the disease like wilt and root rots. If there is incidence of termite or cutworm is there, then you have to treat the seed with chlorpyrifos 10 ml per kg seed. And then you should go for the seed treatment with microbes, that is rhizobium culture. For this you have to take 100 gram jaggery, that is gur, which can be dissolved in 500 milliliter of water, that is half liter, and which is sufficient for half acre seed treatment. And then this solution should be boiled for few minutes, then let it cool down. Then you have to mix the 1 packet of rhizobium culture in the jaggery solution, then stir the solution with the help of a stick to ensure proper mixing of culture. Then this mixture should be mixed with the seed which has already been treated with fungicide and insecticide for a thin coating of this rhizobium culture mixture. So then you have to allow the seed for drying in shade, and if possible seed treatment should be performed during evening and sowing should be done during morning hours. Then what is the manure and fertilizer requirement? You know that it is a leguminous crop and so many nodule activities there, so nitrogen can be met up through the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen in the nodule, that is symbiotic system. But you have to supply the starter dose, because nodule activity starts around 20 days after sowing. So you have to provide a starter dose of nitrogen, that is 20 to 25 kg per hectare. And you also know that phosphorus increases the yield and improves the quality. So best result can be obtained that if you apply 40 to 50 kg P2O5 per hectare. It also, phosphorus also improve the root proliferation and also help the growth. So it is very essential in case of pulse crop. And then you have to add 20 to 25 kg potassium. As you know that potassium also improves the cooking quality of pulses as well as taste. Both will be improved through the addition of potassium. So you must add 20 to 25 kg K2O per hectare. It also creates a balanced condition of NPK, so that disease and insect can also be checked with the application of phosphorus potassium application. In case of acidic soil, you have to apply 3 to 4 quintal lime on the furrow to neutralize the soil pH. And it is better if you add 5 to 10 ton FOM per hectare, because microbial activity will be enhanced if there is soil is having sufficient amount of organic carbon. So FOM and compost can serve to provide the food for microbial activities. And if you take special management, then because actually after 50 to 60 days the nodulation activities become slower. That time nutrient requirement during the reproductive stage is too high. That time some booster dose, that is 2% urea or NPK, if you spray at the time of flowering as well as in the pod development, then certainly it will boost the yield as well as it will improve the quality of the seed. Then coming to some improved varieties, because you know the variety can play a very important role to increase the productivity, as well as it must be suitable to the soil and climates. So in that way you should know the characteristics of different varieties, and accordingly you should choose the variety. Some improved varieties are CHICKPEA, that is KFP 103. It is powdery mildew resistant, and its duration is 130 to 140 days. Then Uttara, it is also resistant to powdery mildew, and it is a dwarf type of plant, and its yield capacity ranges from 20 to 25 quintal per hectare with a duration of 120 to 140 days. Then Sapna, it has been released during 1997. It also yield capacity is 20 to 25 quintal per hectare with a maturity duration is 120 to 130 days. It is also resistant to powdery mildew, and it is dwarf type plant. Then Jayanti, it is also resistant to powdery mildew, and it is having bold seeded. Then Malviya Butter, it is also important variety released in the year 1999. It is resistant to powdery mildew, rust, leaf miner, etc. with a duration of 110 to 130 days, and yield capacity is too high, 25 to 30 quintal per hectare you can also get from this variety. DDR 23, it is very extraly type and very suitable where the moisture stays are there. Then it is also resistant to powdery mildew. Its duration varies from 95 to 115 days only. Then Ambika, it is also resistant to powdery mildew. It is tall type of plant. Then DDR 23, which is known as also Pusa Panna. It is, its duration is 110 to 115 degree. It is very early type and resistant to powdery mildew. Then Indra, it is dwarf type and resistant to powdery mildew, and its duration ranges from 105 to 115 with a yield capacity of 20 quintal per hectare. For Jharkhand, nowadays Dantiwada Philpi is performing very well. If you follow the package of practices, then you can harvest from this variety up to 30 quintal per hectare. The old varieties also DDR 23, that is known as Pusa Prabhat, and HUDP 15, that is Malviya Motor 15. Also farmers are preferring this, and still it is in the existence. Then Subhra, it is also resistant to powdery mildew extra early with a duration of 90 to 95, along with a field capacity of 15 to 20 quintal per hectare. Then others, it is resistant to powdery mildew. Then Vikas, it is also resistant to powdery mildew and tolerant to rust. Then Procas, it is resistant to powdery mildew as well as tolerant to rust. Then Paras, then Pont P14, it is resistant to rust and powdery mildew. Then VL Motor 42, resistant to powdery mildew as well as moderate resistant to rust. Its duration may vary from 108 to 155 days. Then Pont P42, it is also resistant to powdery mildew and moderately resistant to pod borer as well as stem fly, which is very important to control the insects. Then I am coming some recently released varieties, that is Pont P13. It is resistant to powdery mildew with a duration of 110 to 115 degree, and yield ranges from 24 to 26 quintal per hectare. Another variety is Gomati. It is very suitable for late sown condition, which is resistant to powdery mildew and tolerant to pod borer. Then Amman, it has been released during 2010, and its duration is 124 to 137. It is resistant to powdery mildew, tolerant to rust, moderately resistant to pod borer. Then VL motor 47, it is resistant to wilt, rust and powdery mildew. It is a little bit longer duration. It is 142 to 162 days to maturity. Then Dantiwada Philpi, which I discussed earlier, it is very much resistant to powdery mildew. Then Salimar P1, it has been released during 2013 for particularly a hilly tract. It is longer duration, around 2010 to 2015 days it will take to for maturity. Then Pont P155, it is also resistant to rust and powdery mildew and tolerant to pod borer. Then Pont P250, it is resistant to powdery mildew, ascochyta blight and root rot disease. And then last one, which has been released very recently during 2018, that is IPFD 2014-2, which is moderately resistant to pod borer, aphid as well as nematode. Then coming to weed management, because you know that weed can be responsible for reducing the yield around 40 to 60%, even where weed pressure seed bank is high, then you can get a very low yield. So you have to care for weeding. You can you can remove the weeds from field either manually or chemical weed control. If you go for manual weed control, then hoeing and weeding should be done first at 25 to 30 days after sowing, and then second one is 50 to 55 days after sowing. It is always better if manual labor is there, then you should go for manual weeding, because hoeing is there, that means loosening of soil will be there, that means oxygen content of the soil will be higher, then also the moisture loss through evaporation, through capillary movement will be reduced. So manual weeding is better than chemical weeding. But if manual labor is not available, then you can go for chemical weeding, that is herbicide application. You can apply pendimethalin 3 liter per hectare just after sowing. That means you have to apply this pendimethalin within 3 days of sowing. And the 3 liters of this herbicide should be mixed with 500 to 600 liter of water for 1 hectare spraying. Then some post-emergence herbicide like imidacloprid at the rate of 600 milliliter per hectare should be sprayed on the crop to reduce the weed infestation. And in addition to this, you can apply another herbicide which is Velo, that can take that can be helpful for pre-emergence pre-emergence weedicide as well as post-emergence weedicide. It is ready mix of pendimethalin and imidacloprid, and it can be applied within 3 days of sowing. Then coming to water management. The soil should have sufficient moisture throughout its course because the microbial activity should not be hampered at any time. Just at the time of sowing, soils should contain sufficient moisture for multiplication of the rhizobium microbes. Then you have to, if the soil is too dry, then you should apply one irrigation, then you should go for sowing. And another important critical stages are there, that is at the time of flowering, you should apply another irrigation, and second irrigation should be given at the time of pod development. So if you maintain these critical stages, then you can expect a very good yield. Then rain associated with cloudy weather invites fungal diseases. So that time you should take special protection for the plant, and then crop may be given additional irrigation when frost is expected, because it will prevent the proliferation of fungal disease. Then coming to some important disease in field pea. First important disease is powdery mildew. It is polygony. Its first symptoms appears on the upper surface of the foliage as very small, slightly discolored spots. These soon give rise to white powdery areas which continue to enlarge. So it will be, in severe cases, it will be responsible for poor yield and quality. You can control this disease by spraying or dusting of sulfur, or spraying of morocide or calixing at the rate of 0.1%. Single application is not effective for controlling powdery mildew disease. You have to go for 2 or 3 spray as prophylactic measures. One spray of Belleton 0.05% followed by 2 spray of Carathan 0.1% can check this disease and improve the yield. Then second one is downy mildew. On the upper side of the foliage, lacens appear as irregularly shaped yellow to brown with indistinct margins. On the underside of the foliage, these discolored areas have patches of mouse-colored fluffy fungus and fruiting bodies. Its management can be done by practicing crop rotation, then deep tillage to bury the crop debris, then use of tolerant cultivars, and also seed treatment with metalaxyl at the rate of 0.5% will be helpful to check this downy mildew disease. Then rust is also important disease. The uridaceae appear on both surface of leaves. They are small, oval to round in shape and light brown in color. Severe infection is reflected in large number of sori, covering large areas of leaflet. Severely infected leaves wither and fall off prematurely. To control rust of field pea, you can spray foliar spray of Carathan or till at the rate of 0.1%, which is very much effective to control this disease. Then I am coming some important insect pest in field pea. Cutworm, that is Agrotis epsilon, is major insect. Its larva will cut young plants in the seedling to 6 to 8 leaf stages. Cut plants can be found drying up and lying on the soil surface. As damages continues, fields may be bare and the plant population will be reduced. Cutworms initially feed on leaf tissues of stems without cutting them. Its chemical control, you have to spray the chlorpyrifos 20 EC at the rate of 1.5 ml to 2 ml per liter of water during evening hours. Or you can use the poison bait, which can be prepared by mixing 10 kg rice husk with 500 ml chlorpyrifos along with molasses 500 gram, and that bait can be sprayed throughout the field. And the latest control measure is spray of chlorantripole 18.5% SC at the rate of 5 ml per 15 liter of water after sunset. Then it can check with this measure the cutworm. Then coming to another important and harmful insect, that is pea aphid. Pea aphid injures the plant directly by removing plant sap with its piercing and sucking mouth bud. Aphid can cause wilting, distortion of leaves, and stunting or kill the host plant. The flower and early pod stages are the most susceptible to aphid feeding injury. It also transmits vector, it acts as vector and transmit the viral disease to the host plant. Economic threshold level is 2 to 3 aphids per 8-inch plant tips or 9 to 12 aphids per sweep. It can be controlled through the spraying of imidacloprid 17.8% SL at the rate of 5 ml in 15 liter of water, or thiomethoxam 25 Wg at the rate of 0.5 gram per liter of water. You can avoid the field pea attack through the early seeding. If you sow the crop a little bit earlier, then it can escape the aphid attack, because it attack depends on the temperature. Then that means if you sow the crop a little bit earlier, then the attack can be minimized. Then another important insect is termite. Termite bores into the roots and stem and kill the plants. Attack may continue to the standing crop during drought period. Its management can be done through field sanitization, that is timely disposal of crop stubbles. That means clean cultivation is required, and you should not use undecomposed FOM or compost which attracts termite. Actually, it can also be checked through 2-3 deep plowing. Then you have to destroy the termite heap around the field, and you have to kill the queen. Then termite attack will be less. If it is in the standing crop, then you have to spray the chlorpyrifos. Before that, if you go for seed treatment with chlorpyrifos at the rate of 8 to 10 ml per kg of seed, which I discussed earlier, it can check the termite attack of the crop. Then another important pest is leaf miner fly, and then pod borer also. Leaf miner fly actually makes a tunnel, and it's the plant leaf tissue of the plant, and its symptoms show just like a snake structure, white snake structure. It is very much common, you will find very commonly, and it also damages the crop, and the chlorophyll content will be reduced, so yield will be hampered. And then pod borer, it damages all the grains of the pod. So we have to control these two insects by spraying of indoxacarb or spinosad 0.5 ml per hectare at the early stage. And another method is neem seed kernel extract 5%, followed by quinal phos 1.5 liter per hectare in 500 to 600 liter of water, and we have to spray this solution. Then it can check the leaf miner attack as well as pod borer. Then another important practices where I am coming, harvesting, threshing, cleaning and storing. Because farmers are generally do not take much care at the time of harvesting, but it is very crucial point where you can harvest a good amount of yield as well as quality seed. Because if it is harvested at the premature condition, then the breaking of seed will be there and yield will be less. If you harvest after maturity, then again yield will be decreased and quality of seed will be deteriorated. So at the proper time, harvesting is very much essential. Harvesting means it is the process to remove out the plants from the soil, and that means you have to take it, you have to cut it, the plants, and then you have to make the bundle and you have to gather this. Then you have for threshing, moisture content is very important. That moisture content at the time of 13 to 14%, you should go for threshing either manually or mechanically, and it should not be over beaten or overturned, then the quality of seed will be hampered. It can also be harvested. Nowadays mechanization is going faster, you can harvest it through mechanized way. Then you have to dry the grains up to, so that moisture content of the grain reduced to 10 to 12% for its storing. Before storing, you should clean the grains properly from the unwanted parts of the plant. And then the seeds should be kept in bin, and which should be kept in dry place, so that stored grain pest attack can be avoided. And coming to some few example of multiple choice of question. Number 1, pea is commonly known as arhar, chana and matar. That is, answer is matar. Center of origin of pea is Mediterranean, America and West Bengal. First answer, Mediterranean is the answer of this question. Then inflorescence of pea is called as axillary raceme. The recommended seed rate for pea is 50 to 60, 80 to 90 and 40 to 50. Correct answer is 80 to 90 kg per hectare. Then pea crop needs cold and dry climate, hot and humid, and dry and hot. You know that it is cultivated during Rabi season, so cold and dry climate is required for this production of pea. Then pea should be treated with rhizobium inoculation of Rhizobium japonicum, Rhizobium leguminosarum, Rhizobium glycine. You know the answer is Rhizobium leguminosarum. Then next question is, how much area of pea should be covered with 1 packet of Rhizobium? We have discussed earlier that it is sufficient, 1 packet is sufficient for half acre. Next question is, what is ideal temperature for germination for field pea? That is, answer is 22 to 25 degrees centigrade. Maximum area under pea cultivation in India is MP, UP, Bihar. You know the answer is MP, because UP is the highest producer, but MP is the highest area coverage under MP. You have seen that 39% area is covered in MP. And last question is, higher yield of pea could be achieved by use of higher dose of phosphate. Second, adequate amount of nitrogen, no nitrogen application. I discussed that you have to apply starter dose of nitrogen, that is 20 to 25 kg for the first stage growth, and adequate amount is harmful because it is able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen, and it can meet up its own nitrogen requirement through nodule activity. So phosphorus management is very much important. So use of higher dose of phosphate can boost the yield. So answer is use of higher dose of phosphorus. And this is all about field pea production, and thank you very much.